Never discuss these 11 subjects and be like a Stoic. Continuously seeking enlightenment is a path less frequented, yet it is the most fulfilling one. There are elements in our lives akin to seeds. We nurture them quietly, shielded from prying eyes, allowing them to develop and mature without external disruption. Herein lies the insight of Stoic philosophy. It instructs us to foster inner growth patiently, without the compulsion to exhibit our progress to the outside world. The Stoics, profound philosophers of the past, recognized that not all should be divulged. They held their secrets, triumphs, and teachings in high regard because they realized that exposing too much could lead to losing the very essence of those treasures. Each moment of happiness or sorrow, every learning experience and hurdle, are fragments of the narrative we craft. If we divulge every detail impulsively, we might forfeit the depth of our experiences. Just as a bud does not bloom when constantly handled, our personal development too requires seclusion, a sanctuary where we can reflect on our faults and successes and determine our future course of action. Therefore, when we choose to keep certain aspects of our lives private, it is not for concealment, but for preservation. Authentic growth stems from striking a harmony between what we openly share and what we reserve for ourselves. In an age where sharing is the norm, it can be tough to acknowledge and value the unseen efforts behind our successes. In this video, we will delve into 11 principles that we advise you to keep personal. Each one holds significance, so make sure to watch through to the video's conclusion to understand their importance. Let's start with the first principle. Principle 1. Refrain from discussing personal success. Envision exploring the uncharted depths of your inner being. For Stoic philosophers, the quest for knowledge and moral excellence was akin to this deep inner voyage. They posited that genuine contentment lay not in flaunting one's external victories, but in self-reflection and perpetual personal growth. Each obstacle faced in battle won occurred away from the public eye, within the quiet realms of the soul. Their discourse on triumphs provided us with profound insights. They taught that ego and vanity, when indulged, can erect barriers to true moral excellence. And the Stoics argued that our fixation on public acknowledgement fastens us with the shackles of arrogance, ensnaring us in the vain chase for transient accolades, a journey marked by disenchantment. Yet the Stoics imparted a valuable lesson. The most notable accomplishments are not those paused to be acknowledged, but those that quietly revolutionize society, fostering virtuous values such as justice, compassion, and prudence. For these ancient philosophers, wealth was not hoarded in physical repositories, but stored within the equanimity and richness of the spirit. Instead of exulting in victories or languishing in defeats, they pursued a calm acceptance of life's vicissitudes. They beckoned us to appreciate that life's rhythm is often dictated by forces outside our sway. In this purposeful quietude, they found a conscious decision, a dedication to true excellence. They believed that grandeur resided in a life of integrity and commitment to the common good. Their enduring wisdom teaches us that humility, honesty, and an unending quest for enlightenment are the fundamental tenets of a meaningful existence. Principle 2. Avoid discussing unresolved struggles. On the Stoic journey towards enlightenment and moral strength, each stride was purposeful. The detours and falls were not simply hindrances. They sculpted the spirit, molded one's character, and illuminated the essence of greatness. It was not the outward victories that mattered, but rather the private, often unseen struggles that forged a person's resilience. So, why would Stoics suggest keeping silent about the hurdles yet to be cleared? This stems from their profound understanding of the human condition. They contended that ego and arrogance could obscure our clarity, rendering us sightless to the essence of virtue. An insatiable thirst for accolades and validation might just mask our inherent capabilities. The Stoics didn't hold in high regard the accolades that paraded as medals. Their quest was for a nobility found in deeds that uplift society, grounded in principles like fairness, altruism, and insight. For them, true wealth was not reflected in the luster of precious metals, but in the glow of virtuous conduct and inner peace. The concept of embracing one's destiny was central to their philosophy. Stoics did not wallow in the wake of misfortune. Rather, they met both success and setback with composure, recognizing that life's fabric is interlaced with events frequently outside our dominion. Principle 3. Withhold your grievances. Consider the entanglement of emotions where each filament is a sour recollection, a grievance struggling to dissipate. Stoicism, an ancient philosophical beacon, beckons us to ponder the unseen heft of resentment. For these sages, to nurse grievances was akin to an anchor thwarting the soul's voyage on life's vast oceans. Yet what if we opted for a road less traveled, one where pardon and insight are our steadfast allies? Beneath this historical doctrine lies a staunch emphasis on ethical conduct and self-mastery. Envision carrying a weight for an extended duration. Feel the fatigue, depletion, and bitterness it brings. This load acts as invisible shackles, constricting our liberty and inner harmony. It is a revelation that resentment, often born from misinterpretations, can confine us in a vortex of acrimony. The Stoics nudged us towards exploring the roots of others' actions, to comprehend before casting judgment. Forgiveness is thus not merely a kind-hearted act, but a gesture of deep insight that deciphers the enigmas of the human spirit and liberates us from the fetters of negativity. Anger and spite are covert toxins, blazes that devour our peace and well-being when indulged. Conversely, by selecting the route of forgiveness and empathy, we discover a haven of calm and tranquility. Hence, guided by Stoic enlightenment, we are reminded of a pervasive truth. Forgiveness is the linchpin of our liberation. It is a lighthouse steering us through emotional tempest towards the sanctuary of calm. Embracing this philosophy, we unearth that often our most profound might resides in the release, in freeing ourselves from the manacles of yesteryears and charting a course toward a horizon of comprehension and tranquility. Principle 4. Refrain from announcing your charitable acts. Consider a lone candle quietly radiating light in a dim chamber. Its glow, unassuming and soft, nonetheless breathes warmth and clarity to all within its reach. To the Stoics, benevolence was akin to this discreet beacon. They held that true kindness should not be trumpeted in the agoras or heralded from peaks. It ought to be a silent, sincere act performed from an unselfish will to do good, devoid of any yearning for recognition. Why does this notion seem counterintuitive in our era of rampant self-display? The Stoics discerned the peril of parading benevolence as a show. Indeed, if we vaunt each compassionate deed, we risk inadvertently chasing the ephemeral glow of commendation. Preserving our charitable gestures in the realm of the unseen gives us a private interval for contemplation and stillness, a space for inward dialogue to discern the authenticity of our motives. This confidential introspection propels self-betterment. Central to Stoicism was the conviction that genuine goodwill does not search for the limelight but resonates in deeds of heartfelt empathy. Subtle, yet profound, this wisdom encircles us, reaffirming an essential verity. The noblest act of kindness is that which is extended with no expectation of recompense. Principle 5. Do not disclose your forthcoming endeavors. Envision a chess grandmaster whose pieces glide across the board in silence, leaving adversaries to speculate on their next move. This mirrors the Stoics' approach. They knew that unveiling each plan could expose them to the capricious gales of outside scrutiny, replete with disparagement, jealousy, and sometimes harmful intentions. At the Stoic philosophy's core lies the precept of self-reliance. Why lean on the transient cheers of onlookers when real strength burgeons within the mind's own theater? By holding their strategies close, the Stoics weren't merely concealing their intentions, they were bolstering an inner stronghold of confidence, unperturbed by the surrounding ebbs and flows of public opinion. This brings us to humility, an understated yet profound attribute the Stoics zealously embraced. Announcing ambitious plans could be misconstrued as a boast, a declaration of one's supposed superiority. In choosing discretion, They found a median between ambition and modesty, ensuring their steps were firm yet not ostentatious. Thus, Stoic wisdom offers a nuanced view on the virtue of secrecy. It instructs us that safeguarding our objectives transcends mere tactic. It is a way to reinforce our being, to celebrate our autonomy, and to traverse with humility in a realm where external validation is often the sought-after coin. The Stoics urge us to look within, discover our internal guide, and navigate our path with assurance and sagacity. Principle 6. Keep your deepest aspirations confidential. Picture, if you will, a rare and fragile seed resting in your hand. It signifies your innermost dreams and passionate yearnings. How would you shield it from the severe gales and tempests that might hinder its germination? The Stoics offer guidance through their deep-seated insight. They regarded our ambitions and dreams as these delicate seeds, meant to be sown within the nurturing confines of our souls, insulated from the tempests of external judgment and censure. Who hasn't witnessed the dimming of a dream's light, extinguished too soon by the chill of doubt or the scorch of mockery? In the Stoic creed, self-reliance is extolled as a precious virtue. Authentic enlightenment and achievement aren't trophies for public display, but a private fountain of knowledge from which we can continually draw. The quest for ephemeral external validation pales when we can unearth richness and purpose within our own inner sanctum. The most silent yet most resonant of virtues, the Stoics acknowledged the fine line that distinguishes earnest ambition from hubris. Opting for silence over our grand visions was not a gesture of timidity, but a conscious stride towards modesty, eschewing the blindness often brought on by vanity. Ultimately, the Stoic legacy speaks to the essence. There's no imperative to declare our visions to the world. Instead, safeguard them, nurture them, and behold them as they unfold into their quiet yet grand splendor. This protection is an invitation to reconnect with our inner fortitude and to recognize that sometimes the most valuable treasures are those we choose to keep solely to ourselves. Principle 7. Withhold your doubts and hesitations. Imagine finding yourself amidst an expansive forest where each tree is a doubt, and every shadow an uncertainty. Instead of broadcasting your hesitancy, you choose quiet self-reflection, seeking enlightenment within. This resonates with Stoic thought. They recognize that confidence isn't a banner to be brandished, but an internal flame that illuminates our path. Sharing our uncertainties incessantly can be likened to subjecting a beacon to relentless downpour, risking its extinguishment. Instead, we cultivate the resolve to remain unfazed by the appraisals and verdicts of others. Modesty isn't solely an outward trait, but a bulwark guarding our spirit. Thus, disclosing all uncertainties can strip one of their spiritual nobility. Consequently, always deliberate on the timing and the confidence of your vulnerabilities. While the masses might seek enlightenment amid the din of the world, appreciate the value of silence and inner contemplation. Trust that the answers to profound inquiries often echo within the serene alcoves of the heart and mind. By retaining certain doubts, you foster deeper rumination and a closer communion with your core. In essence, Stoic philosophy conveys a priceless counsel amid the squalls of uncertainty. There's no necessity to broadcast your indecisions. By cherishing silence, modesty, and inward contemplation, we carve a secure passage through the thicket of uncertainties, led by the inner light of our conviction and comprehension. This is the testament of quiet self-contemplation and the inner certainty bequeathed by Stoic wisdom. Principle 8. Refrain from passing judgment on others. Criticizing others is akin to casting stones upon the still surface of a pond, causing ripples that disrupt the peace. The Stoics perceived that engaging in judgment and criticism was a distraction from self-examination, a squandering of energy on matters outside their control. Rather than pointing fingers, they chose to extend a hand in understanding. They navigated life with empathy and compassion, aware that every individual is a complex cosmos of inner and outer conflicts, joys, and disappointments. To criticize another was to ignore the intricate and rich tapestry of the human experience. They recognized that criticism often builds barriers instead of bridges, hindering the pursuit of peace and harmony. Stoic wisdom imparts a clear, enduring lesson. Be stewards of our words and thoughts. Instead of fixating on others' flaws, we should reflect on our own actions, striving for personal growth and virtue. In an era quick to criticize, Stoicism encourages embracing tolerance, acceptance, and benevolence, allowing our empathetic gestures to ripple positively across humanity. Principle 9. Don't talk about unlearned lessons. Errors are universal. We all stumble and falter. Yet, it is in our response to these errors that our character is truly shown. For Stoics, such moments weren't cause for despair but opportunities for insight and progress. While today's culture pressures us to portray an image of flawlessness, Stoicism offers an alternative: to see mistakes as guides for self-improvement. By keeping our unmastered lessons private, Stoics weren't avoiding accountability or concealing their shortcomings. They were engaging in profound personal contemplation. Each misstep was not an end but a new beginning, a fresh page in the relentless pursuit of virtue and enlightenment. Just as an artist incorporates a flaw into their masterpiece, Stoics transformed their missteps into cornerstones of growth. In a world of overexposure, Stoicism reminds us of the worth of inner reflection and the grace of silence. Principle 10. Keep your moments of solitude sacred. Many may seek to inundate every moment with activity and interaction, but the Stoics found strength in solitude. They didn't see solitude as an emptiness to be filled, but as a refuge where the mind could wander uninhibited, free from the scrutiny of others. Contrary to popular belief, Stoics did not fear solitude. They welcomed it, finding connection to a rich inner world of insight. It was in this quietude that their deepest thoughts emerged, untainted by the clamor outside. Today's world, where social media often dictates one's worth, Stoic philosophy beckons us to reassess our need for constant exposure. In the quiet, we discover our true selves, a harmony that need not be shared but simply experienced in its purest form. Principle 11. Do not divulge your most intricate plans. The Stoics understood the value of silence regarding one's intentions, recognizing that discretion is not a sign of weakness, but of strength. For them, every scheme was a fragile seed needing careful cultivation away from the harsh elements of doubt, envy, or public gaze. In today's world of constant sharing, Stoic teachings urge us to consider the power of keeping our goals confidential. Silence was not a void but a space, brimming with potential and anticipation, where dreams could quietly thrive. Taking inspiration from these ancient thinkers, we learn that by safeguarding our most profound ambitions, we allow them to mature unhindered. The real enchantment lies not in our proclamations but in our silent achievements, within the fortress of our resolve. Your support is vital for us to continue disseminating wisdom and inspiration. If you have any ideas for future content, please suggest them. We treasure your feedback as it steers our mission to deliver ever more enriching and meaningful material.